love.
Rebecca. Okay, I'm done.
On the first date.
So my thoughts on haberdashery on the first date. It's not always a bad thing, but if a girl and I get into that knitting situation on the first date, then, you know, she can't be the wifey. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a good thing. It's not a good, it's a bad way to start because it's very physical, you know, and it just doesn't really leave room for that emotional growth because you've already engaged in that stitch.
See, I think you first of all need to consider whether or not this haberdashery is involved with a one-night stand. If you just meet somebody, you take them home or you go to their home and cross-stitching goes down, it's a bit of a worrisome situation, but you might have been friends for a while and it's just the first time you've dated and you already have that chemistry, so fabric happens.
My personal opinion is I don't think it says a lot about the girl if she stitches on the first night, because you start as you mean to go on, and it means that you're easy at giving things up, so don't have to really work hard. Guys like the chase, so if you give it up on the first night, if you make that so, they might not come back for anymore.
It's not entirely true. First of all, it depends on whether or not your stitches were good. If you came with that cheap fabric and your if your knit game was dead, nobody ain't coming back. Nobody's coming back. But also, I don't think it necessarily demonstrates that she's easy, just that she's decisive. If a guy has haberdashery on the first night, he doesn't face the same scrutiny. It's just because she's a woman, she's placed under a different light. But we're all animals, essentially. And what do animals do?
Animals eat from a bowl and they poop outside. That's what animals do. Normal people don't do that.
No, domesticated animals eat from a bowl. The beast just...
You said it was how good the cross stitches were, but really, would this girl be someone who you'd be proud to tell your friends, like wifey material, if she cross stitched?
She gon' need stitches. Okay, hold on. I don't see a problem with haberdashery on the first date. Because at the end of the day, the first date with me is going to be the best date. That's when I'm trying to impress you. So if you're not going to give me some at the end, then you're never going to give me some. And who cares? If the stitching is good, I'll come back tomorrow or the next day, everything's good. Also, I was to sit here and be like, that's not wifey material when you're hitting the first date. Then none of you girls are going to give us anything on the first date. And sometimes, you know, you're sitting there looking good, I'm looking alright, and I want to hit the first date. I keep saying hit, but I should be saying haberdashery. I want haberdashery on the first date. So I don't see a problem with it. I think if you're a boy and you're insecure, and you can't handle the fact that she gave it to you straight away, you think, wait a minute, if she gave it to me so quickly, she can give it to everybody so quickly. But at the end of the day, come on, if you gave it a D, how you supposed to give her a D? I shouldn't say the D. If you gave it a haberdashery the way you're supposed to, then don't worry about it. She's yours. Keep forever.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang forever.
Haberdashery on the first night is a tricky subject because, first of all, why the date was instigated plays a big part. Sometimes you're looking for something serious, and a girl that engages in that kind of fabric-related play on the first night is not what I would say is something serious. But then sometimes you can get in very challenging situations with people where you just have to bring out the sewing tools and do what you gotta do. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think what the girl does after
Haberdashery
on the first date is more important. Like, if she sits up and just sits there just hanging around for no reason, just watching like, what are we doing now? Then it's not wifey. But if she goes, do you want me to like give you a massage before I go? It's okay, you can sleep, I'll just let myself out. Wifey material.
GTA 5, bricked and stabbed.
So a guy went to get his GTA game. He got robbed of his game. He got stabbed in the back twice and bricked in his head. Yeah, so we can talk about that.
This is extremely out of order because this poor guy who bought his GTA 5 at midnight is now in hospital and he still hasn't got to play the game while everyone else is enjoying it, posting pictures on Facebook, and they bricked him and then stabbed him. I mean, how harsh is that? You get bricked first and it's like, oh no, that's not enough. We took your game and your phone because you can't do the cheats without the phone on the game, so we got to take your phone too. Then we're gonna stab you after being bricked. But what I don't get is a group of them did it. Who gets to keep the game? There's gonna be a lot more brickings and stabbings happening in that group before they get home, but it's a hard life. Poor guy in hospital now. We've all got the game, do you know what I mean? We've got the game, but yeah, he's in hospital, we can't get to play.
Over a game. Now don't get me wrong, we all know that GTA is one of the largest game franchises and GTA 5 is one of the most anticipated games in history. But really, knives and bricks, bricks and knives, in heads and backs, are you mad?
Do you know what I find sad is they bricked him like to slow him down and then they stabbed him. Like, I'm sure after you brick someone, they're not really gonna get up and try and fight you. Well, it's GTA, they might, but It's just really sad.
I think you were involved. You know they bricked him to slow him down.
No, well that's what I would do if I was trying to take someone. Brick them first.
On camera.
I'd brick
camera,
them
boy.
and then like once
How's
I
the
brick
game?
them,
Game
it's
good,
like-
yeah? Game good. A stolen game good, yeah?
Game's alright.
Is he getting any calls on that phone?
Wait, what phone?
I think it was the kind of situation that the media just loved. Like they always want to put youth violence on games and that kind of stuff. So it was just a really childish crime, man. It was a sad day for gaming. Bricks and knives and bricks. But aside from the bricks and the knives, this is the season where girlfriends get ignored.
Drake, the type to release an album this week.
Drake dropped his new album, Nothing Was the Same, which I heard at the special listener party when he braided my hair. I must say he killed that album. So far, I think it's the album of the year.
No secret, I'm not the hugest of rap fans, but I will admit this is a really good album, and I have enjoyed a fair amount of Drake's songs, but I felt the last album just had a lot of commercial fluff that didn't really do anything for me. But he said that this album he wanted to go back to being that kid in the basement, just doing it because he wants to do it, and he did it.
This Drake album for me was definitely like Drake going back to his roots in terms of the stuff that he released right before he blew up. And it also sounds a bit like it's Kanye West influenced, like the Dark Twisted Fantasy album. It seems like it's rubbed off a lot on this performance from Drake, which is dope.
So I listened to a few Drake's songs from his album. Previous to listening to the album, I was laughing at him quite a lot, cyberbullying him on Twitter, laughing at all these Drake the kind of beep. But I think he kind of is getting his respect back.
Drake's the type to get pregnant just so his girlfriend don't have to.
You don't have to get pregnant, girl. I got this.
Drake's the kind of to collect all 7 Dragon Balls and wish for his ex-girlfriend to find a good man.
Don't you worry about my accomplishments. I just want you to find someone good.
Dragon, dragon, rock the dragon, Dragon Ball Z. Or Dragon Ball Drizzy.
Drake's the kind of beep to flinch when his girl raises her voice.
Talking too loud.
And nothing was the same.
And this week's sacrifice, James K. Lowry.
We have a new contender for the Team Gregory Award. James K. Lowry. He got weighed in, basically. He was spotted several times peeping on his next door neighbour's 15-year-old daughter. Eventually, her father had enough, and it was over for James K. Lowry. Name is cool, but he got abused. When you see these pictures, you see his face. It is even worse than is even worse than what Gregory did. The injury report said his nose was split open, his eye was swollen shut, he had several lacerations in his temple.
Lacerations in his temple. But how old is 15 really? I mean, was she 15 or was she 15? Was the whooping worth it?
I don't know, man. I think it's a bit peak for him. It's one thing to be a pervert, I guess, and another thing to get caught, and another thing to get handed justice by an arse whooping, and then ignored by the law. Like really, he really got beat up. He got beat up to the point where he could take the other guy to court for GBH, but instead they just said it was minor injuries.
Well, to be fair, he did kind of look like a pervert, so you could see it coming.
See it coming? Sorry. I'm saying, but if it was my daughter, he would have got that brickage and that stabbage and his GTA taken. For the link them to the star he's been talking about, check the description. For the link them, well, 300. Alright. For the link them. Wait. Hold on, girl, we're going home. Alright, wait. Okay, so, oh damn.
Yeah.
For the link them in the description, no, yeah. For the link them,